What I'd like to do for the last 10 minutes is kind of talk practically in terms of practical things that we can leave the family with as we head into 2020. Um, whether it's advice on some things to study, maybe some podcasts to listen to, including Leroy's podcast, which he can talk about. I kind of feel like, we've talked kind of in theory and esoteric tonight. I did start off with some practical advice of things that you should consider with regards to, getting blockchain jobs or blockchain-based businesses. But I want to end tonight on a practical level as well. So I'm going to open it up to anybody because I know that is a tall order here. But practical advice of things that we should consider doing, either prepping over the next 2 weeks for 2020, or as we're heading into 2020, what are some of the things that the family should be doing?
Reading. And this can't be stressed enough because not enough people do it. And it's like, most of your answers can come from there. When you read, when you do your own research, you're teaching yourself how to think. You're not just reading someone else's ideas. You're taking their ideas, processing them yourself, and you're learning how to think through problems. So you're seeing examples of how other people did it. They're giving you their walkthrough, they're writing down, whatever it is. Reading is the key to everything, reading and doing your own research. So speaking practically, I would say for families, just start by a basic book. Start with, what's his name? The Tapscott, Don Tapscott. Anyway, the book is called Blockchain Revolution. Start there. It's a really simple book. It breaks down blockchain. It breaks down how it started, how it works, all of these things. And Bitcoin in Black America. I'm going to plug that out until we finish it. But yeah, start with those and just go online. Look up we have the internet. Like, just go online. You have a question, type it in Google, and then go from there. Find some reputable sources. Find one YouTuber, or find one blog, or one person on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you use, that you like, that seems kind of interesting, and then build on from there. Even if they're completely wrong, they could just be saying whatever. They could be completely wrong. But if you get an idea from there, you have a starting point. The hardest part I feel is finding that starting point, because a lot of people ask me, like, hey, like the other day, I had my grandfather with me on WhatsApp, and he had asked me, hey, can you send me some information about the Bitcoin in my P.O. box? I'm like, what do you want to know about it? That was the first thing. Don't
sleep on the P.O. box now.
And cause he's back home, back in the Bahamas. But so I was like, well, what do you want to know? He's like, I want to know how to get involved. I said, okay, involved how? Like, do you want to invest? Do you want to learn about it? You just want to, like, what do you want to do? And he had trouble articulating what it was exactly that he wanted. So finding that starting point, I feel, is the most difficult part. And I say just jump. You can find you can find your favorite podcast. You can find some guy who just started yesterday and has no idea what he's talking about. But you're going to have that baseline to start with, and then you can build on from there. Twitter, while it seems like just a playful social media, Twitter is so informative.
I agree.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're going to do a blockchain chat sometime next year about the top blockchain people to follow on Twitter. I keep pushing it back because we keep having great interviewees on Wednesdays, but I definitely have that on my list. Yeah, so great. Eric, practical advice, the titan of tokenization himself.
Oh, that definitely. Well, see, now that you said that, I would say, hey, study and learn about tokenization. This thing is going to take over and completely transform finance. So put it into your Google alert and read about it. Like, you will be amazed at, the application of blockchain, of the ability that tokenization of assets has to completely change the way finance has always happened, and to be able to democratize it and to make it much more accessible for everyone. I mean, that's part of our goal. That's some of the things that we really do trumpet that a lot. And for that to come along now during this time in our lifetime, I think it's just an amazing opportunity. But I do echo what Leroy said. Read. Take this time to. I know I didn't take this time to really catch up on a lot of reading, and those books you talked about. Yes, absolutely, those are great, fantastic. I love Zay's book. I love how he broke things out in a very simplistic way. It's fantastic. So yes, that's what I would echo the same thing. Read, yes. Learn
so I'm going to piggyback off of Eric for a second. In preparing for the February conference, I did research. So our conference in February is going to focus on 3 areas where we can dominate as a people and individually. Smart contracts is one, data management is the second, and the third is tokenization. And in my research, I discovered by 2024, I'm going to get this right here, by 2024, the tokenization asset market is forecasted to be $24 trillion. I'm sorry, by 2027. Sorry, by 2027, $24 trillion in assets is going to be going through tokenization. So we're going to have an in-depth conversation about how we can be owners and get jobs within that piece of the pie. So, I'm going to leave it there and toss it over to Talisha. Piece of practical advice that you have.
Practical advice. As a content curator for BBC, I think the best place to go, you're on Facebook. Do something useful with yourself and just head on over there. You can search for anything. You can search or you can just browse. I think that's the one thing, again, just start. There's enough little content there for you to pick and choose what you want, click on something that's interesting. It's always going to take you somewhere else. Joining our, inner circle to get some more discussion, some more meat to that bone kind of thing is always going to be, but you can toggle back and forth because we kind of proliferate both of those with that information. But it is starting to just educate yourself and don't feel overwhelmed like you have to know everything. Just go vocabulary, the top, 100 words of blockchain. Start there just so that you're familiar with the term so that you don't have to go back and forth and say, what's that mean? What's that mean? And then just read an article a day. Make it something that you do as your habit. People always come up with, New Year's resolutions. Maybe take, one of those resolutions. I'm going to read a blockchain-centric article a day. That may be something that you do, and have accountability partner and say, read this with me and we can discuss it or bring it to us. I always say, I have a post right now about how can we help you in the BBC? What do you want to learn in 2020? Feel free to, put that in the thread. What do you want to learn? We'll help you. So I always say, this is the Jerry Maguire moment. Help me, help you, help me. That's what we're here for. And that's what you need to use us for.
Right. So I'm going to give 2 pieces of practical advice. Number one, everyone has said read, which I think is very important. I added a little extra to that, which is set up your Google alerts with blockchain in it, or blockchain in your industry. Because sometimes we'll forget to go and read our article a day. However, if it's in your email, then at least you'll see it. And while you're, sitting on the throne, I put that in quotes, or, or taking the train, or waiting for your kid in the parent pickup line, or whatever it is, that's a great way for you to scroll through your emails and say, oh yeah, the information is fed to you. So that's number one. The second thing is something that I used to say all the time. I'm going to reintroduce it, which is pick a major. Once you read, I'm a big fan of reading. However, some of us read and we never act. And I want to make sure that you are reading, but that you're also acting as well. And one of the biggest things that you can do is select a major. So the analogy that I give is, if you've ever been to college, your freshman and sophomore year, you study general studies, you know, but in junior year, they have you do what? Pick a major, pick a specialization, and go deep with that, you know, whether it's tokenization of assets, whether it's smart contracts, you know, data management in healthcare, data management in education, whether it's a platform, whatever it is, the greatest thing that you can do in 2020 is pick a major, because you've only got a couple of years to really get yourself grounded so much in that major or that specialization that by the time mass adoption happens, people are searching for you. You've only got a couple of years. So let's make this count. And don't be afraid thinking, oh, I have to choose everything. No. The best thing you can do is be a specialist. If you needed heart surgery today, would you go to a general practitioner, or are you going to go to the best heart surgeon at Johns Hopkins, you know, or whatever medical facility is near you? You want to think of yourself as being a heart surgeon as well, with regard to some area of blockchain where people would be more than happy to give you 6 figures for what you know, because you are the best in the industry. So with that, does anybody else have any final comments?
Ask questions.
You have questions?
Every question.
Ask questions. Okay.
Ask every question. There are no dumb questions. There are no, like, the community is here to help. The community wants to answer these questions. Anything at all that comes up as you go through the journey, anything that's confusing, it feels overwhelming, just reach out to anyone in the community. I almost guarantee they'll gladly help you solve it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the community is so small, whether you're reaching out to other Black people or white people or whomever, people are very, very responsive because the community is still so small. So, you know, thank you so much to all of you. Don't forget, if you want to come to Atlanta in February, it's blackwealthandblockchain.com. blackwealthandblockchain.com will lead you to the Eventbrite page, and from there you can see the agenda. We're going to have a great time. We're going to tokenize a piece of Black art. And we are going to talk about smart contracts. We're going to talk about data management. We're going to also have a brainstorming session with my vision of we can get 10,000 Black people to put $100 each in, you know, then we would be able to fund our own blockchain, not just blockchain companies, but tech companies, period. So we're going to have that conversation as well. And we're going to have Krista McFarlane, who is the head of Patientory, as our keynote speaker. She's very excited to be coming in as well to speak with us. So blackwealthandblockchain.com. Okay, so thank you so much. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish, or whatever other religion that you serve. And God bless you. And we will see you officially in the new year. Have a good evening, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Leroy.
Thanks, Leroy.